Okay, we're live. Michael, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Yeah, happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about you. What's your name? Where do you work? Um, and yeah, about the company.
Yeah, so my name's Michael Cimo. I'm one of the managing directors and co-founders of Worktables. Worktables, we are an authorized channel partner of Monday.com, recently becoming what's called a solution partner, where we specialize in the manufacturing and field service vertical. And yeah, as a company, right, our we focus on trying to blend and bring together process and workflow automation using the Monday tool and looking at a company holistically and how do we solve these business challenges, not just provide technical stack or solution.
Amazing. So you talked about kind of already about the niche industry, or I don't know if it's the main specialization, but definitely something of your focus.
Sure.
Why that one?
So I think it's a few, a few points to touch on here.
Yeah.
One, it's because we have 25 years of manufacturing operations experience in terms of our heritage and, working with different manufacturers. And manufacturers are historically, it's been a very legacy software driven vertical. And what we're seeing right now is this boom in the manufacturing industry where all of the established manufacturers are making this jump to this new automated era. And we have this window and this ability to really help these companies. And I mean, I have some stories around the value and how we've been able to impact them that makes it's very rewarding. So because there's the need, our history and our experience aligns, and this is what brought us here.
Yeah, definitely. And a few conversations I had with, other partners as well, about in construction, in real estate, in like you see
Sure.
those kind of, I guess, legacy, somewhat of a legacy industries also realizing like it's time, like we're already behind, like with other industries, and it's time to move
Yeah.
on. When you say manufacturing, like what do you give me a couple of examples? What are we actually talking about here?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, everything from pharmaceutical, cosmetics, manufacturing equipment, dog food. I mean, you name it, chemicals. We work with any manufacturing company that, our big thing is, are you producing something? And if you are following this standard production framework, typically to produce this product. And we are specialists in understanding how to create and optimize that framework.
And you get to chat, do you get a chance to work with the Monday CRM specifically as well?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest areas of opportunity, in my opinion, because most manufacturing organizations, all right, they have their large ERPs, and then they have their sales team that kind of works independent to get information into that massive ERP. And so what we see is almost every manufacturing company that we work with, there's this gap for CRM. So we bring CRM to them in this holistic way and I'll point out most CRMs and having done this for 25 years, most representatives don't like their CRMs. It's a burden. It's an afterthought. It's not anything that's actually going to help them do their job. So when we come to an organization that's had this gap, we position this as we are building a tool that's going to empower your reps. Yes, it's going to get you the data you need, but it's going to turn that one rep into four, helping them with their automatic outreach, classifying their leads, helping them stay on top of this to sell and build more. So that's our approach in a nutshell.
Amazing. Yeah, and obviously totally makes sense. So you obviously explained that you have the industry knowledge and the history in that manufacturing vertical, and I'm guessing for obvious reasons, when you already do something for a while with specific clients, it's very easy to kind of attract even more of the same. Um, and but so I know why they choose you, as a partner.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
why are they choosing specifically Monday?
Yeah. And I think so you brought up 2 points here. So first, when you get the experience, so in manufacturing as a whole, right now I say you're like 50% of the way there because you know the industry and the flows. And then when you start working with certain verticals, you understand how they operate, their terminology, their quirks, their needs, their pains. And then yes, that helps you attract many more clients in that because you're speaking their language now. You know their
Exactly.
compliance regulations, right? You know all of that. So yeah, so I think that's a big part of it and it's a huge help. And then when you look at why Monday, because Monday is one of the most flexible tools. We built an entire practice around it. We don't sell anything else. We are a Monday only partner,
Yeah.
and we're able to deploy Monday in a way where, and I say, CRM is not a one size fits all. Some companies are customer right relationship focused, where we're using the same client base and we're nurturing it and we're trying to generate revenue from it. Others are more transactional, where they're using leads to build and funnel into and those two CRMs look totally different in two
Right.
separate companies. We love Monday because Monday has the ability to tweak and be not only either one, but can be both in many cases for a company. So that's why we choose Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, I love to hear that. And that's what everybody keeps saying, like, right, the building blocks. Like instead of building
Yeah.
STRM, you build the building blocks and then to each his own, whatever fits the organization. If it's small, then it can be simple. If it's big, it can be robust, whatever you need.
And
Um,
Danny, one other point, just to
yeah, yeah.
one cherry on top of that, the app architecture. So being a heavy, development company, we have the ability to where if a client is saying, you know what, I really want to be able to, pull in my data from this place to enhance what we're doing in sales or operations, we can easily create these integrations that bring in this data or even custom applications that we build on top of Monday to create a different user experience, right? So it's so flexible, so customizable, and the application architecture is a huge piece of it. So just one thing to add on there.
No, no, it's awesome. And so, okay, let's be a little more juicy. You said you've seen
Yeah,
it
sure.
all. You've seen it all. You've
Yeah,
done
yeah,
it
yeah.
all. Um, to share with me like an interesting, out there, quirky, whatever, crazy story, like a CRM moment, then that
Yeah.
kind of pops into your mind.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so we have a customer where they do what's called contract manufacturing. So clients will provide them their sensitive information to quote them on being able to produce that product. And a company came to us and was like, look, we are spending probably 80% of our time just going through these quotes and working back and forth with customers. Like it is a real challenge for us to do this. There has to be another way we can do it. And what we did was so we analyzed what type of data they were coming in, and we used Monday to do two key pieces here. One, automatically analyzed the document and pre-filled all the information. So that took right off the bat 20% of their time, which is entering in this information into their CRM. That was one. Second piece was being able to automatically match the ingredients that were filled in to what they had available in their database, another 20% time. And then the third piece was we built a custom app in that they could click a button and it would search the internet for that ingredient, come back, fill it into their database, and give them access to it. That was
Incredible.
a very interesting use case with Monday. And the ROI on that, it literally reduced almost 80% of the time they spend doing this role from 100 hours a month down to two. Huge ROI.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, we keep keep adding tools for simplification, and then
Oh
eventually
yeah,
like bombarded with a million things, and then someone comes in with the right click here and there, boom, everything
sure,
is
sure.
organized. Amazing. So yeah, so obviously you know the platform through and through. What is kind of like maybe a favorite feature or like a capability that you really like about Monday?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I would say it has to be. It's hard to pick one. So I will. Maybe I'll give you my suite. So I love the new workflow feature that allows us to really kind of elevate. the automation capabilities of the platform, doing, a business-wide automation, not just singular board automations. I think the emails and activity column has a function has come along so much that the new column that was implemented, being able to truly understand what's happening in a deal in a beautiful timeline feature, I think that's great. And then I think the AI capabilities are hands down probably, where we're going with AI and how Monday is building them in product wide. I think nobody else is doing this. I think this is really special.
Yeah, love to hear that. And I can't say much, but I'm sitting here and they keep updating Slack with new updates. I'm like, this is wild, but cool, cool stuff. Looking forward to it coming
Yeah,
out.
man. Yeah,
Um, Amazing, amazing. So just to kind of go back to general industry talk, what is kind of the most common use case? You know, most you see it kind of like a daily thing. People come in.
yeah,
This is the popular thing they need you to help them with.
yeah. And in terms of, I'll do both sides of the coin. So on the CRM side, it's so first streamlining their CRM operations, automating client outreach, automating things that fall through the cracks, I think are the biggest one, where maybe you send a client a proposal and all of a sudden, oh, did I ever get back with that customer? So building in a framework of, okay, Monday after you send your proposal, we'll follow up every 3 days. And if by day, 15, we don't hear from the client, automatically set an alert that shows on your dashboard that this client went dark. And oh, by the way, out of all the clients that went dark, here are your high value clients and here are your standard clients. All right. So really giving you that visibility. So that's CRM use case there. And then on the work management side, it's the inventory management or assessment actions where, okay, we get an order, assessing for that order it. Do we have it in inventory? Do we not? Do we need to order it? Do we not? And then the whole intake and then production process. And then for Monday, I'll touch on service as well. Field
Sure.
service portals, right? Customer portals, client portals, vendor portals, tech portals. They're in the field. They need something where they can see all their jobs and work through. So that's my point on each suite.
Amazing. No, I understand why, because manufacturing, it's all about the inventory and all about
Oh,
yeah, I'm sure.
yeah. And most manufacturers, and I see this every day. Without this piece, it literally kills operations because you're going to run something and then all of a sudden, do we have it in? Did we not? Did so and so order that? Oh no, they didn't. So the framework we put in place, it structures the order comes in, it gets the assessment with the bill of material if it needs to be ordered. And when the materials come in, Monday automatically knows it, recognizes it, and pushes that order into pre-production for the final check. And now they know they can schedule. And that's another challenge. Most manufacturers, they're not able to get 30 days ahead in their schedules, 45 days ahead in their schedules. Something's always happening. And we come in with these tools, and that's the goal. Structuring them to get that visibility, follow process, because we implement it right in a nice, great, way, but following that process, and if you follow this flow in the system, that end result, you will have those schedules, you'll have that buffer, and you will be optimal in your efficiency in operating.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, people have to update manually something at the
Yeah.
beginning of each process. So there's always probably an education process for those workflows, but at least you want to minimize it as much as you can.
And you know what? We call it, here's my term, right? It's the accountability handshake. And I'm big on this, where in the system, there's always a handoff point or a point where a human has to do something and another human has to check it or receive it. And the accountability handshake is I am now sending it to you and the system tracks it. And this person has to acknowledge or receive it and the system tracks it. And if you're not doing that, we visualize this on dashboards to help the users. So instead of going to look through boards or columns, I open up one dashboard. Here's what I have to acknowledge for today. Click, 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 done. Now I've acknowledged it and now I'm able to work on it. So the accountability handshake, Danny, that's the that's the term for today.
I like that. I just shared a post about silos within organizations. So you're like
Yeah.
right, hitting it right there. Let's talk about general CRM usage, what should people stop doing in general? Like we like to go on a go-to moves, but the opposite. What not to do?
Oh, oh, this is a good one. I would think in this case, so companies try to take on sophisticated challenges and they'll not lean on the professionals to help them do it where they're this huge company, they have a big ERP system, and then they want to self-deploy and try to self-integrate. And what happens is they're not realizing all of the time and effort it's taking to do this. And some companies, they have the IT staff to do it, right? But it's they're not having someone else coming in looking at and going, okay, here's what your peers are doing. Let's assess if what you're doing is the right thing and come together this flow. And what we do is we do these business workshops when we get to an organization to map that out. So I think one is trying to bite off more they can chew. And then I think the other one is um, really taking a look at their pain and go, okay, you know what, maybe we don't need to do this now. And not really being open to solving a problem that they have. I think that's another one, right? Because sometimes clients just see dollars. They're like, oh, to solve this problem, we have to get this solution. But I worked with a company where they were generating um, R&D records, right? And a customer would come in, they would have to fill out an Excel spreadsheet and have somebody look at it, and then they have to write an email and send it to the customer. And they were spending, as a company, probably maybe in total 100 to 150 hours a month doing this task. And there was errors and wrong documents. And then when they came back and the customer wrote back via email that they approved it, it was getting lost. So what we did is we we went in and we said, okay, this is a huge problem that you have. Here is the value, and we mapped it out and put the business case together. And it was saving literally out of that 150, 140. We turned it into a button click. But they recognized the problem. So not recognizing those big problems and acting on them, I think is a challenge.
Nice. Let's talk about sales in general.
Hmm.
Obviously, you see a lot of why I like these conversations because we have obviously I operate in kind of the sales world and sales content
Sure.
world, and most of it is about the cold calling and the tips on how to phrase an email correctly and how to
Yeah.
move a deal forward. And then I talk to someone like you, and you see the actual admin. And people don't like to talk about the admin work and the admin side of it
Sure.
because it's kind of less sexy on LinkedIn or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's we already know that's the majority of the work. We already know that
Yeah.
salespeople don't sell most of the time, like the sales process. And so, what is your sales hot take? Something that you see and you're like, this just, either drives you crazy or you think it's a
Okay.
myth or whatever.
So I think it's two points here I'll touch on. So one is your sales strategy. It should be a holistic, 360-degree approach. It's not just cold calling. It's not just emailing. It's a multi-touch integrated living organism where we're creating a client testimonial, and that client testimonial has three drip points on LinkedIn. And when a customer goes to register for that, they go into a funnel that generates different email points to get them more. And then, so on top of those, multifaceted approaches to getting a lead, it's automating. How do all my mentors would tell me, and I think back years and years ago, and it's more true now than it ever was. The most valuable resource you have is time. Okay. And the most powerful thing you can do, right, is be in control of that time. So if I can automate something, for example, after a discovery meeting with a customer, it's a click of a button, dynamic email sent out to them. If they don't respond to me, my system knows it's following up for me. I should be doing the higher level task and be strategic with my time versus doing the administrative piece. Now, to solve that Monday, right, we build in these flows, but we also build in things called quick action features where if I have a meeting with somebody, I know my company needs to know I have that meeting. So if the system can recognize that a meeting was held. That's number one. It grabs it. We shouldn't even have to do that. But in a case where I go on site, maybe I have an on site meeting with a customer, we build in these quick action buttons where you can just click on site meeting. It grabs your information, notes it in the system. So I'm on the road. Quick, click, 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 done. I'm not sitting here typing and using the tools, right? I'm about to have a meeting. AI, give me a recent event about the company. Great. Building more rapport. So I think multifaceted approach, automating that input and admin time. I think that's the 2 points.
Very nice. And so, we talked already pretty deep in this conversation, approaching the end.
Sure.
Tell me about like the craziest setup you've seen.
Ooh, that's I feel like that's a loaded question because I feel like once a client really understands the value of Monday, it goes from one to two. It spreads like this organism inside of a company because once someone sees like, wow, you can automate that. Can you do this for me? We've launched in multinationals across different continents, but I think the craziest one has to be, and they're actually going to be, we have an upcoming webinar that we're doing. We're going to get one of their leaders here. So local cosmetics company in New Jersey, and we've automated almost everything in their business is a click, deploy, automate, pulls in data, pulls in customer information. Like the problem they have is when they don't follow their process. That's what mistakes happen. But if they follow every point of their process, it's like thing is just like flying through. But I would say, I mean, they have deployed custom customer portals for their clients where anything that they do in a project automatically shows the customer. They don't have to even customer 80% of their customer questions went out the window. All right. Now they're getting different questions, but the basic like where's my progress? What's
Yeah,
happening? Like all of that's there. Dynamic documentation, automating sales follow-ups, automating production records, like you name it, they're doing it. So I think that would probably be one of my most, craziest setups for sure.
nice. Two more questions for me. First
Sure, sure.
would be, you kind of touched on it a bit earlier, but what is the audit process? Like a new client comes in, what do you
Sure.
look for? What do you assess? What's important for you to know? I'm curious about the general approach of how to implement. Obviously, the solution will be
Yeah,
Monday because that's the reason why they came in. But
sure.
how do you assess the situation?
That's a great question. So first, it's upfront during the interaction or sales process, understanding first, type of business, who are the personas that are going to be using Monday, because an executive of the company is not caring about every little task that's happening on a production floor. He wants to see the overall production score and their trending metrics. Are they delivering on time? Are they delivering right? Any mistakes, whatnot. Okay. Or, the operations leader that does need to see are his team members executing those tasks. So who the company, what they do, and who's going to be using it. That's the biggest piece. And then from there, it goes into the workshop. And I think the business workshop for us is one of the most important parts of this is because we get deep into their process and we make sure that the process is whole, it's documented. And then from there, we understand the company, we bring recommendations, we come together, we make this final flow, and then from there we implement. So that's what I would say is the overall flow and process.
Nice. And I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, but just kind
Sure.
of instinctively, once you actually sit with a company that and require them to share the process, it's kind of like therapy. You say something, they
Oh
might
yeah.
say something out loud, then they realize on the spot already that something's dysfunctional or something.
Oh, you nailed it, Danny. And every workshop I do, we have multiple levels of organization users in the organization, and one will say, "Yeah, we do it this way." Other one's like, "No, we don't. We don't do that anymore." Right? And it is that therapy, but it's something that most companies they don't have the time to do and really sit down and map out their, what does the customer journey look like? How does our team mimic that journey? And step by step exit criteria for each stage in each process. What's the required documentation? when I tell you, I've never been to a company that was able to just go, "I have everything." Never, not once. So that is definitely a very good point for sure.
Great. So final question.
Yeah,
We're running fast here. How do you measure success? You come in, you see the problem, you see the solution. We know KPIs are important, especially if you come in
absolutely.
as an external vendor. I'm sure people, there's a contract, there's expectations. How do you measure that you gave the or produced the impact that you expected or that they expected more correctly?
Okay. So I have some hard ways that we can do that, right? First off, did we meet the requirements? Was it accepted? Is it being used, right? Seeing the customer using it, helping them along that journey. But the biggest measure of success, and this isn't a tangible where we could say, all right, it's one for one. It's all of a sudden it spreads to every other department. Hey, so and so said you can do this. Can you help me with that? It's the customers talking about their experience internally. And then it just expands from there. So that's one of those sleeper metrics that it's the intangible that shows something is being adopted and providing value.
Yeah, I connect with it on a deep level as a person who's doing marketing, and people ask, how do you measure brand? And it's always like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't really measure brand, but once
yeah.
people start talking to you and reach out to you, and you start
Sure.
seeing, a different conversation, the impact is there.
Oh yeah,
Um, Thank you so much. So many insightful
sure.
comments and moments in this conversation. Uh, to me, it sounds like your clients are in good hands, and I'm sure we'll have a fruitful relationship for many years to come.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me on today, and I look forward to speaking again.